Hey guys, what's up? Dax here. Today we are here with round 6 of the Go-Karting Championship. Unfortunately today only 2 of us took part in this round. You can see on the left hand side of your screen you've got myself with the blue overalls and the blue helmet. And on the right hand side of the screen you can see you've got Tom, green overalls, green and black gloves, black and white helmet. I think you know by now who is who, especially when there's only 2 of us racing. It's not so hard to see who is who. So left hand side of the screen is myself, right hand side of the screen is Tom. So now this is the first race. Now that we decided, as there's only 2 of us, there wasn't really much point of doing a qualifying session. So what we decided to do was just give the points for pole position to whoever had the fastest lap over both of the races. So that's what we decided to do for this race here today. So that's something similar to what we did earlier on in the season when there was only 2 of us racing. So I thought saves a bit of money for us and we get the same result at the end of the day. So hopefully that's alright with you guys. Once again, obviously it's not ideal to only have 2 of us racing, but I'm hoping by about round 8 Will should be back back home. So hopefully he can be taking part in the championship once again. So hopefully we'll see him and a lot of other people. I think that's probably going to be from about round 8 onwards. We'll probably see Will back into the championship and hopefully competing with the rest of us and hopefully doing well, I suppose. Obviously I'd rather win all the races, but you know, hopefully Will comes back, and obviously he's had a race win already. James had a race win already. Will's dad's had good results already this season, so hopefully they can all come back this about a month or so time. I'd say for round number 8 they probably won't be back in time for round number 7, but hopefully by round number 8 we'll have more of the grid, hopefully about 7 or 8 people racing. That's going to be the hope at least. But yeah, today we went to this sort of race expecting to do the short track because it was raining earlier on in the day, but you can see the track is pretty much dry. The darker parts of the track where it's been raining and it hasn't completely dried out yet, but most of the racing line is dry, as you can see, as most of the time beforehand lots of people were racing, so I'm assuming the track has dried up because lots of people have been going over it. But the people before us were doing the short track and they switched over to the long track for us, so I assume they just sort of seen the sort of cut over point between wet and dry track, which they do. Obviously that corner that we've just gone through there, the fast left-hander, if you do that in the wet conditions it's actually incredibly dangerous because you can spin off there and possibly get injured, because it is, you know, quite a fast corner, and if you spin off you're carrying the momentum through the corner. If you go backwards through the corner, or you spin around, jab the brakes a bit too much, you're going to end up going down the grass and hitting the tyre wall, and obviously as it's downhill you're still maintaining the speed. So yeah, probably best for us in the wet conditions not to go around that track. But here today we obviously ran the track as it has dried out a bit, which is good. But about 3 minutes into this race now, you can see not an awful lot has gone on. Tom had a good start. He started in the pole position, but he had a good start and meant he got away, and he's pretty much kept that lead now without me really closing down an awful lot. And actually I had a slight problem through this race because, or just before the race, I realised that the zip on my kart suit had broken, so I decided to wear my coat for this first race, but it got incredibly warm. So for the second race I decided to not wear my coat, but it was incredibly cold for that, so we'll see for that when it comes about. But for this race you'll see I'll be wearing my coat, so slightly darker blue, still a blue coat but a little bit darker blue. But you'll see when I try and overtake Tom, if I do overtake Tom, that you'll see that. But I'm sure Tom will look around at one point and you'll see him right up behind here. You can see I take a slightly different line through that turn through Tom. Tom maybe going a bit more defensive now as he realises a bit closer now over this last lap or so. I have actually caught up to the back of Tom, and this could be a good opportunity to try and go for an overtake. Going up to the top hairpin now, we're going to have to look down the inside. No, we're a little bit too far back this time, but we're a little bit later on the brakes, turning in, just getting the apex as well, over that curb, over this curb as well. That second curb you don't really want to take too much of it, otherwise you could end up losing control because it is a little bit higher up that curb. But luckily for us we didn't get spun around or anything. But now we're right up behind Tom here. Well, not right up behind, but we're a lot closer to Tom here, up into the slipstream. We should actually have a good enough run down this straight here to possibly go for a move down the inside. We're right up in the slipstream here. Tom, is he going to leave space down the inside? He's left space, there's a gap, and going down the inside. You can see that's promoted me up into the lead this race here, and that's pretty decent move, quite late on the brakes there, getting the move done. Now I'm into the lead race, and as you can see I am wearing that coat, but I'm going to take it off the second race because it got extremely hot and it was actually quite annoying because it wasn't as easy to drive because obviously the coat's quite big. It's like a padded coat for like not extreme, but for cold conditions, and it wasn't exactly like that. It was just like, it was a bit cloudy, but it wasn't exactly cold. So when I put the coat on, it made it actually extremely warm, which actually wasn't exactly ideal. But now Tom's going to try the challenge to try and overtake us back once again, and he'll hope to grab the lead back again. Obviously, as there's only 2 of us in this race, it actually gives Tom a good opportunity. He's only been 2 times before the season. The 5 rounds, Tom's only sadly made it to only 2 of the events, so he'll be looking to get good points here today. He's only on 34 points going into this round, considering if you look at the difference, I'm on 132 points and Tom's on 34, and yeah, the only person that's really close to Tom is Harry really at the moment, and Will's on 32 points and Harry's on 51, so a bit of a difference either side there of Tom. So he'll hope to, obviously he'll get good points here today wherever he finishes, but he'll obviously rather take the win and the fastest laps in both races to maximise that. But unfortunately for me, I haven't exactly had the best of seasons so far. Look at the standings, you might think I've been alright, but as we've got a pretty similar season to last time, I can sort of compare sort of race in, race out to what's happening last season, because I'm hoping to do all the events like I did last year, all 12 rounds. So I'm hoping to be able to sort of just compare throughout the season, and at this point of the season I'm actually down on what I was at this point of the season last time. So after round 5 last year I was on 143 points, but after round 5 this year I was on 132, so I was 9 points down on what I'd done last year. And also last year we didn't give points to the first round of the season for the fastest lap because we didn't have a pole position shootout there. So yeah, I'm quite far down actually on what I was last year. Not as good race performances, I'd say, on my part, but hopefully throughout the sort of second half of the season, which we'll be going into in round number 7, we'll hopefully have a bit more pace, and hopefully we can challenge for race wins a bit more regularly than have done so far. I think, how many wins? I've had 2 wins out of the 10 races we've had so far, so not exactly the greatest conversion rate of races to race wins here, but hopefully we can maybe get at least 1 win here today to help us in that department. Tim, he only took part in 3 events, Tim, but he's up on 79 points with 4 race wins, so he's had a really good season so far, Tim, but unfortunately he couldn't make it to this event here today, round number 6, and he says, I've been talking to him about a possibility of round number 7. He's saying he's probably unlikely to race in number 7, which is unfortunate for him as well, which means that the championship standings will be thrown up a bit as well, because my dad's currently still in second place on 83 points. He's done 4 rounds this season, obviously missing out on this one as well. He's on 83, and then Tim's on 79, so it's quite close there, and then it's Tom. No, sorry, not Tom actually, it's Harry on 51, then it's Tom on 34, and Win on 32, so a little bit closer for Tom actually, you could say. A good opportunity for him to overtake Harry in the standings here today and get a bit closer to Tim for 3rd place. Tom currently sits in 5th place in the standings, as I said there, and he'll obviously hope to get good points here today and move up the standings at least 1 position. I mean, it's pretty much impossible not for him to move past Harry in this event now, unless he crashes out one of the races or crashes, I don't know, I guess even if he starts the race, unless he just pulls out the second race or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, pretty much impossible for Tom not to go past Harry in this event here. But you can see I've started to pull a gap over the last couple of laps here. You probably heard Tom going like, no, because he made a couple of slight mistakes along the way, which meant that he dropped back a bit here. But it's good to see Tom actually had really good pace in this couple of races today. We'll see it later on what the fastest times were in both of the races as well, but it is good to see Tom with good pace here today, and hopefully he can challenge and maybe not make this couple of mistakes that he made in the second race, to maybe put him a bit closer to myself, and we can have a really good battle for the win. Obviously Tom was leading for about the first half of the race now, as I think this is the last lap of the race, is it? Well, no, that was the final lap of the race. Didn't see the checker flag. That was it. Just under 10 minutes that race there actually. But Tom gives me the thumbs up. I give him the thumbs up there. So good race from both of us once again. I get the 15 points. Tom gets the 12 points. And as of yet, we won't give points for fastest laps because we want to see who was fastest in the second race. But not too hard to realise who was who. And I won that race. Tom was in second place. So Tom got 12 points. I got 15 points. But now the second race. Let's get looking at the lights. Obviously on the left hand side of your screen, lights are out. I start on pole position here after winning the first race. Tom has a really good start there, and you can see pretty happy with that to go down to turn 1. I wasn't sure how I got such a bad start there. Maybe I just didn't react as quickly as I possibly should have there, but now I got to try and bring the battle to Tom and try and get back past him once again. Obviously it was quite tricky to get past him in that first race, and now I'm going to hope to get past him this time. But you can see I get a really good run through there, and that's going to put the pressure on Tom straight away, but he doesn't make a mistake. He keeps it all well in line there, and now he's going to be hoping to just bring home this race win if he can. I mean, that'd be a really good result for him. Obviously he won one race last year, the last race of the season. Hopefully he won't leave it this late or that late this year to get a win, but he hasn't won a race so far this season, so this could be a good opportunity for Tom to grab a race win and the points to come with it, and maybe the points for fastest lap. We'll see for that later on, but I'm not quite close enough to really put a charge on here and try and get past. But as Tom goes across the line, he's probably got over a half second gap on me, so I need to be wary about that and not let that gap get too big now. Braking up to the top hairpin, braking a bit later than Tom, closing in a little bit once again, but can't quite get it done. And once again I'm dropping back from Tom, and now I just need to try and just take a bit more speed through there. Do that, take a bit more speed through this final corner. Nah, don't quite do that. I got a bit sideways, which lost me a bit of time, but Tom goes across the line, probably increasing his gap over that lap as well. So the pressure's on here to try and get past Tom here. You can see Tom looking around, wondering where I am, but into the top hairpin. He keeps the position. I'm not close enough to go down the inside there at that turn, but you can see I'm really pushing here. I want to get this race win. It'd be good to get both race wins and possibility of a fastest lap, but we'll see for that later on. It's actually really close. I won't spoil it for you guys who got the fastest race lap in race number 1, but it was actually incredibly close. Only I think a tenth of a second separated us in that first race there, so that's how close it was in that first race. So it's really up to this second race here. Obviously the track's probably a bit drier, the karts are a bit more up to temperature, more likely to get the lap in the second race here, but who knows, maybe not, I'm not too sure, we'll see. But Tom, once again, he's doing good lines and he's keeping the gap. Really, I haven't really been able to close in a gap here. And I was wondering at this point, has Tom just found something in the second race here, because I really couldn't close in the gap here. You can see across the line once again, he's probably gained, it's probably up to about a second now, that gap. Maybe just under, but the gap's definitely gone up over these last couple of laps here. I'm wondering how I can close this gap in, break a bit later at the top hairpin. I didn't really close in at all really through there. Tom doing a good job here at keeping that gap, which is very important actually, because if I got closer, obviously I can get the slipstream. This far back, probably not much of an advantage of slipstream. I mean, there's hardly any advantage in the first place, but you do see the advantage of the slipstream, especially if you get a good run through the turns. But I think I actually did close in a bit on that lap actually. I got a decent run through that final turn, and now up into the first hairpin here, closing in once again. Tom a little bit sideways there, you can see shaking his head, but that's definitely closed it up a bit there. Tom making that slight mistake, and it's all throwing it up in the air once again now, as I'm right behind Tom to possibly get into, get enough of the gap down enough to try and go for a move here. You can see right behind you now, pretty much about 2 or 3 kart lengths. I mean, I'm in a slipstream, this is going to be an advantage in the slipstream here. You can see Tom going a bit defensive into the middle of the track, now pulling back to the left hand side to get a good run through the top hairpin. And now that's really pulled the gap down though, because obviously as Tom went a bit, one way and the next into the corner, that lost him a bit of time. And you can see I'm right up behind him. Now this is it. This could be a double race win here, which has only been done I think 2 or 3 times beforehand. I think Tim has done it once, Will's done it once, and I've done it twice, win both races in a weekend. And obviously sort of the getting everything, both the race wins and the pole positions have been done twice by me. and once by Tim. Will has actually done that, surprisingly. I thought he would have done that at some point over these 1.5 seasons, but he's not actually been able to get both wins and a pole position as of yet. I think I remember back to a couple of rounds last year when I denied him to pole position, but he managed to grab both race wins, which is obviously a bit frustrating. If you get pole position, you had the fastest lap in clear air, but maybe when you're battling you're not quite as fast. But up to the top hairpin now, I'm going sort of straight down the grass, nearly there for a bit, but I still haven't got enough of an advantage down the straight with the slipstream to close in on Tom and possibly gain an advantage there. So this is it now, really. We're going into the second half of the race here. You can see I'm right up behind Tom here, nearly hitting the back of his car. I was so close here, but look into the inside here. Tom's giving a gap, but he's going to probably turn in here. Well, he doesn't really hit the apex there. He's given me a gap, and I've got a decent run down the straight. It's hard to tell who's where. I think under the braking though, I will get it. Oh, well, I braked a bit too late there. Tom gets the advantage back, and oh, we'll get a bit sideways there. And Tom, don't know what he was, don't know what happened there. I think he backed off a bit there because he maybe saw me got a bit sideways, and maybe just backed out there in case I did make a slight mistake. But I run quite wide at the bottom corner there. Now Tom is right up in the slipstream once again. Obviously, I've been out front in the first race for the first part, but I run a bit wide once again as Tom, he probably could have capitalised on that, but maybe lifting off once again because he saw the possibility of a bit of a spin there. But top hairpin once again, I slightly missed the apex, or quite a big way off the apex there, and that's obviously losing more and more time when stuff like that happens. So now I've just got to try my best to just keep it all together here. I mean, I've been a bit ragged over the last lap or so since I got past Tom, not really hitting the corners how I'd have liked to. So you can see I'm looking behind there. Tom's not that close behind me now. So through the first turn here, Tom's going to be right up into the slipstream here as he's looking down the inside here. But is he going to be late enough on the brakes? He's not. Well, I go a bit wide. I was expecting him to go down the inside. Actually, that's why I went wide. I was expecting him to lunge down the inside, but he didn't. He didn't do it, and he didn't manage to get through, which is unfortunate for him. But for us, I suppose it's alright because it keeps Tom behind us once again for a little bit longer. Not exactly getting that corner that great there, but Tom isn't really close enough to capitalise on it once again. Like I said, don't really hit the apex once again. Maybe I'm just feeling the pressure a bit here. Obviously, the possibility of a double race win is really important here. Top hairpin, just about get it stopped in time there, but get a bit sideways, and Tom definitely closed the gap in there. So I went defensive, expecting Tom to be right behind me there, but he wasn't really. He wasn't right up behind me, right up behind the rear bumper of the car up there, so he couldn't really capitalise on it here now. So I'd say now the final proper turn here, but Tom gets an excellent run off there. That's a really good run off that final turn there from Tom. He's gone down the inside. It's side by side down this straight here. You can see I get a bit sideways. Tom a little bit slower on the inside here, but running side by side up to the top hairpin here. Who's going to brake later? It's pretty much identical on the brakes as well, but as Tom had the inside line there, he managed to capitalise that and up into the lead of the race once again there. A fantastic move there from Tom, which put him back into the lead of the race. So he gets a bit sideways through there. I ran a tad wide over the curb on the outside there, and that curb on the outside, I was saying, through that fast left-hander isn't actually that nice because it's sort of like cobble or whatever, like stone cobble, and it's a lot bumpier than some of the other curbs, so it's not actually the nicest part to run over the track, especially as you're going at such high speed as well. It actually does hurt your back a bit through there, especially if you run quite a bit wide. But Tom's actually managed to pull a bit of an advantage on us here with about, I'd say, 4 laps to go here on this race, maybe 3 laps to go here, but right up behind Tom once again. Now, can we capitalise on the place where he got past me? Not really. He has a good run through that final turn. He's really mastered that final turn in this race weekend here. And now up to the top hairpin here, you can see I'm in the slipstream. I'm looking to the inside, maybe trying to put Tom off a bit here by looking down the inside. He's leaving me the gap, he's giving me a space down the inside, but I can't really get that move done. I think I actually was ahead for a brief second or half a second or something there as we turned through the corner, but surprisingly I don't manage to get that move done. I would have hoped to, especially Tom leaving that much space on the inside of the track obviously. And I think this is 2 laps to go. I could be wrong, but I think this is 2 laps to go now. So 2 laps to try and get past Tom here up to the top hairpin. We're not going to be close enough this time to make a move down the inside. We do gain quite a bit on the brakes up there though, so that puts us quite a lot closer to Tom now. We're going to be pretty much right behind him here. We get a good run through that turn here. Now right up behind Tom as we turn into the left hand. Oh, Tom braked! I get very sideways there and somehow managed to keep it in the right direction. I was actually pretty I don't know what the right word is here, sort of shocked that Tom was so slow through that turn there. And you can see he's looking behind there. I give him the thumbs up to tell him I'm alright and I haven't crashed or anything. Yeah, I just got a bit sideways there because I didn't really expect Tom to lift off or brake that much through that turn. And that sort of caught me unaware and I had to sort of jam the brakes. It got sideways, but luckily for me, I kept it all in the right direction at the end of the day and managed to not spin or anything, which I think is quite surprising actually. Maybe it was a wet track or a slightly damp track, it would have been a different story. But there's the checker flag. Tom wins the second race of round number 6. Really good stuff from Tom there. And give Tom the thumbs up. That was a really good race from Tom there. Some good overtakes from both of us, I think, in that race, but a really good race there from Tom. Nice to see him grabbing a win. That's 2 wins he's got over the 1.5 seasons so far. But there's race 2 results. Tom wins. I'm in second place. But let's have a look at the standings, because I did actually get the fastest lap over both of the races there by 0.2 of a second in the end there. I think I got a 29.8 and Tom got like a 29.99 or something like that. He's very close to the 30, but he did actually get into the 29, which is good. But there's the standings, guys. You can see I'm still leading in 164. Nearly double the points of my dad on P2 now than Tim, Tom, Harry, Will, James, Joe, Will's dad, Harry's dad, and then Will's dad in P10. But then, guys, thanks again for watching. It's been Alex Mardy. Goodbye.